Right, test. Okay, sound looks good. Maybe I should sit properly. I'll try to sit properly. For 2 hours. That should be a challenge. Well, it shouldn't be a challenge, but it's going to be a challenge. Right, music. Stop. And we switch to a stream. Okay. Right, and for the background music. Oh, this is so quiet. Hopefully this doesn't get really loud. And this should be good. Sounds about right. Right, can be stopped. So this paused. Right. So I have OBS, everything is visible. Alright, I don't think I restarted my Minecraft. Wait. Be right back. Everything's falling apart. Right, be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's turn on the other music. Switch to this. Ooh, I wonder how's the volume on the video.
I think I just found a psyop from China and actually kind of Russia too.
What if I told you the world is slowly shifting away from the dollar?
Yeah, this sounds good. At least the volume sounds good. Right. I guess, yeah, today I'll be playing on my own server. Oh, I haven't played here in a while. Lag. This is a little bit... looks fine now, I guess. It's not too bad. What I'm working on today. Right, I guess at first I'll start by watching one of the new Lawai videos.
Total Energies was
Big fan of Lawai. This is one of the main sources of I have for what's going on in China. Yeah, I've been watching this guy. Well, not this guy in particular. He has a friend or co-worker or co-founder. when they were living in China, they had a business together, and what's his name? One of them is Lava86, and the other one is Serpent ZA. Right, and yeah, I was watching that guy for a very long time. When he was living back in China, he was making videos about everyday life in China, explaining how stuff works, and he was filming vlogs when he was just walking around in China. So it was really cool to watch. Well, it was very interesting to watch. I guess I can just continue on. Oh, food. Little bit low on food, it seems. Should be some food here. Why is the music so sad all of a sudden? Little bit too mellow. I think I have some carrots at my mule. Alright. Oh yeah, there's a decent amount. Decent amount of logs, not that much coal. Well, I guess I should get some coal along the way. Oh, it's been so long since I've been here. Right, so yeah, this is one of the main sources of news, or yeah, basically news, because now when they left China, they are just covering news topics coming from China, what's happening in China and so on. And they have a very good weekly show. It's a live stream, I believe. I think so. Yeah, it is a live stream where they talk about current affairs in China. So yeah, they do it once a week. I think it's in Europe's time, it's around midnight from Friday to Saturday, I believe. Yeah, I think so. I think it's Friday to Saturday night. That's when the stream goes live, where they talk about a topic for that week. A topical. Here's a skeleton. Okay. Probably not. Hey, skeleton rattles. That is definitely a skeleton. Somewhere close. Where could it be? Could be inside this hill. Wait. This is a geode. Okay, I think I know where the skeleton is. Huh. That is conveniently placed, the geode. And it has an opening to go out somewhere. Okay, let's go down. Hello there. Bye. Why did that hit me? Doesn't really matter. Wow, this geode is this is one of the worst geodes I've ever seen. It has like 1, 2, 3, 5. Wow, that is extremely low. Well, I guess I opened one up. So there's 6, 7, 8. Well, I guess most of them are covered under these. Yeah, looks like it. I'm not really sure how these are called. Where amethyst grows. Yeah, let's open it up. I think that's a good idea. I don't really... Well, since I'm here anyways. Oh yeah, and yeah, I wanna watch a new video made by Huawei. Because they do a stream together where they talk about China, and well, but they still have their own independent channels as well. They have a lot of channels, and yeah, this is one of them. Right. Okay, let's see what the video is about, I guess. The music
was
will
willing to
playing
accept
this.
renminbi for their LNG trading.
Selling oil in Chinese renminbi.
To begin,
But this is, well, selling oil. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that Russia had to look for alternative ways to sell their oil and gas, and it's just a hunch, but I think that's what they're talking about. They're talking about Russia accepting payments in Chinese yen. Renminbi, whatever it's called. Right.
accepting yuan as payment for oil.
China and Brazil have just struck a deal to ditch the US.
Oh, it was China and Brazil. Okay. Why Brazil though? China, Brazil strike a deal to ditch dollar for trade. Well, I guess it makes sense. Because, well, none of them use dollar as their national currency. So if Brazil is comfortable taking in Chinese yen, then yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Not sure why it's a big deal. Maybe because they used to use dollar trading. US dollar, I mean. Okay, let's listen.
Dollar.
Countries around the world will seek to break away from dollar hegemony.
China's won. The US dollar is failing, and China is maybe going to
US dollar is failing? By what? By what measure? I have no idea.
become the new reserve currency.
There could soon be a new replacement for the US dollar.
Of course, it's the US dollar.
The petrodollar is disintegrating.
using their own currencies instead of the US dollar.
The only reason the US can use sanctions as a weapon is because the US dollar is the world reserve currency.
I guess that statement is accurate. US can definitely use their well, I'm not really sure about enforcing sanctions or using sanctions as a well, I guess you can use sanctions as a weapon. Usually it's an alternative to using actual weapons, but okay, let's see what they want. What they have to
Using
say.
unnecessary sanctions and weaponizing the US dollar.
But more recently, it's been weaponized by the West.
For years, the United States has been
I wonder what sanctions are unnecessary, because if anything, people would say that at least, and I would agree that especially against China and Russia, there was quite a lot of restraint used when delivering sanctions. It took so long for Russia to get properly sanctioned as it is now. It took so long, and yeah, it's really, well, you can't really say that those sanctions were not warranted.
Has been weaponizing the dollar.
You know, the U.S. is trying to use the U.S. dollar as a weapon, you know, to weaponize it against, you know, any adversary.
To ditch the US dollar.
Dollarization.
De-dollarization.
De-dollarization.
De-dollarizing.
De-dollarization.
The so-called de-dollarization.
De-dollarization. This is a word I have been absolutely inundated with for over a year now. What the hell is all this de-dollarization stuff? Now that's just a tiny little portion of all the channels that were covering this idea of de-dollarization. And I'm not saying that any of these people were paid by the Chinese government or whatever. All I'm saying is that I think I found the genesis of where this whole concept came from. And sometimes the Chinese government is so successful in pushing a narrative or pushing an idea that it actually spreads across the internet and becomes a popular topic to cover. And that's what I think is happening here. De-dollarization is the idea that the world will stop using the dollar as the default currency. And in the process, they'll start using the Chinese yuan instead. If that was the case, the world would change as we know it. The US would lose global supremacy in many ways, and the entire world economy could not only be changed, but could fall into the hands of China.
Well, the change would be that dollar would become worth a lot less, because the demand would be severely reduced, and like, I'm not really sure about exact numbers, but I imagine that global trade is huge, and it wouldn't be that simple to just move away from US dollar to something else. I would argue that the best alternative and the biggest threat to US dollar being used in international trade would be Bitcoin, because it doesn't really have a central authority, and it by its nature it can be trusted by everyone. And with the problem with having or using a currency of a country for international trade is that if that country decides that they want to print more of that currency, like, well, that sucks. Because, yeah, all of a sudden there's more of it, and you can't really do anything about it. Like, if... and it's really hard for that type of inflation to be accurately reflected. So for US it's really nice that they can just print more money. I'm not really sure how that printing works as well, because they make it sound like it's not printing money, but in the end it just seems like it is. So maybe I'm talking out of my ass. No, there's a good chance I am talking about something I have no idea about. Wow, there's so few buds that produce amethyst. Is this amethyst? Yeah, it is. Wow, this is the saddest geode I've ever seen. Right. Cool. Almost a stack of amethyst shards. Okay, whatever. Let's continue watching. So yeah,
A new world order, so to speak. It would truly be wild and really bad for the West in general if the dollar all of a sudden stopped being the currency that people traded in internationally. Honestly, with the amount of videos, and videos with big views I might add, and articles, as well as people sharing out information about this world-changing trend, this de-dollarization, the end of the US dollar, I'll be honest with you, I started to think that it was a thing too. I'm not even joking. I'm not like an economics major or anything, so when
Why would you think it's a thing? Because 1 point something % of trade is done in Chinese yen? How would that indicate that there's de-dollarization or something like that is happening? If anything, the dollar became stronger over the last year? Yeah, over the last year. Especially, mostly because of the Russia, well, because of the war in Ukraine. That's probably the biggest culprit. I don't remember if this, if there is anything to explore on the side still. I'm pretty sure there's still some areas that I can explore, or that are not explored yet. But yeah, let's see. I'm not really sure why Lawi would think that. Well, I guess he's putting it as everyone was talking that way. And I guess if you hear it enough times, you start to believe it. If that's the case.
When you hear something over and over again, you start to believe it. However,
Okay.
something smelt fishy. Really, really fishy. And when I think something smells fishy, I look into it. I've exposed the Chinese government on so many different things, and I figured that this might be one of those things. After digging around and analyzing Chinese and a little bit of Russian media influence as well, and then I fact-checked with 3 industry experts on the matter. And I found out that China is full of shit. It's paying and incentivizing influencers to go around and make videos and content about how the US dollar just died and how the Chinese yuan just took over. It's absolute nonsense. But hey, if a China watcher like me who lived in China for 10 years and is very critical of the Chinese government started to fall for it, then I would hazard a guess that a lot of you guys did too. And even if you didn't, stick along for the ride, because I'll break down where this PSYOP meant to target you is coming from. So there I was, checking my YouTube feed, scrolling around, wasting my life. I started to see things like this. No more dollar. Banking crisis. De-dollarization. The US weaponizing dollar trigger de-dollarization. It's over. China just broke the US dollar. They don't want you to know about de-dollarization. The process of de-dollarization is underway. De-dollarization is inevitable. When you start seeing these things, it gets into your head. But I noticed a trend. Save for some videos, I'll admit there were some completely unrelated to the Chinese government. I immediately recognized that many of these turned out to be pro-CCP accounts. So accounts that are basically paid or incentivized to promote the narrative of the Chinese government in English on Western platforms like YouTube. Many of which work directly with the Chinese state media, as well as people affiliated with Russia. Well, that was an easy thread to pull. A quick search and yeah, not only did I find that it was a predominantly covered topic.
What's happening with the... Hey, Knights Hunter. Nothing's happening on the dollar. It's just propaganda by Chinese and Russian governments. And this... well, this video is explaining it, I assume. This is a new video by Lawi86. He's the main guy. Well, one of the couple of guys I watch that cover China and what's happening in China and so on. And yeah, looks like he found some evidence that this is nonsense made up by China, I assume? Maybe Russia as well.
By the Chinese government shills, but also it was directly from Chinese state media. Look at the sheer amount of articles and content they've been slinging around about this de-dollarization thing. Not only is it in Chinese state media in English, but it's also in Chinese. This whole de-dollarization thing is called 美元化, and there's no shortage of Chinese state media coverage about it. So obviously, this de-dollarization propaganda is something that the Chinese government is trying to spread out there. The dollar is dead. Get ready.
Yo, remember when I said Bitcoin is gonna go up? I can't really say I do, but I believe you. I was saying that Bitcoin is gonna go up. I'm still saying that it's gonna go up. It's still not at the top. And I'm still actively buying Bitcoin, so I have around well, more than 10,000 euros now in Bitcoin, so it better go up.
For your new Chinese overlords, but it's also domestically in China too. I personally know many people in China that have now been converting their
Gold?
stashes of US dollars into Chinese RMB because the government's told them that the dollar is dead. For God's sakes, they don't even hide it.
Oh, for a
Look at
moment.
these two separate creators. One's American, one's British. They use the same gosh darn pictures for their thumbnails on the same topic 7 months apart. I'm not surprised though. The Chinese government, when they want to push a certain narrative, they hire third-party companies, usually out of Hong Kong, and sometimes even in the US, to contact here, YouTubers in America or in different countries, and other media personalities to read a certain script or cover certain key points of Chinese propaganda. We saw it with the COVID origin propaganda coming from the Chinese government. And we saw it when they tried to whitewash the lockdowns happening across the country by showing beautiful vistas. Look at how amazing and free Chinese people are, and meanwhile everyone's locked down. We've seen it when they try to deny genocide in Western China. They'll actually hire people from America or England or South Africa to go around Xinjiang and say, look, there's no genocide here, just people walking around the city. By the way, that genocide is currently ongoing. Look into it. We saw it when they tried to take down politically unpalatable influencers and a host of other topics. You know how I know that? Well, I should know. Because those idiots in the Chinese government tried to hire me to do the same thing. Now you'd think that after looking at my channel really quick, and if you're new here, just go look at my channel real quick, you'd probably want to steer clear of trying to pay me to spread Chinese propaganda. I think I've proven time and time again now that I cannot be bought, and make videos about how the Chinese government in its current state is the greatest threat that the world has ever faced. I make that abundantly clear. But that's how sloppy China is. Because after the Chinese government puts out a memo to these third-party companies, they go out there without doing many background checks or...
He most likely has an agenda? You mean Lawa86? Yes, definitely he has an agenda, but his agenda is to expose Chinese government's, not really sure how to say, malpractices, double standards, and general unethical things that they do. Because he and his friend, well, I wasn't watching him originally, but his friend was making videos about China when they were living in China, and that was like 10 years ago or so. And I was watching his videos, and at some point they had they met up, they started doing content together. Though they do a podcast, a live stream on weekends where they talk about China, because both of them lived in China for a decade or so, and after Xi Jinping came to power and started implementing all of the nationalistic policies and started blaming foreigners for all of China's problems, it basically became unlivable in China if you're a foreigner. So they had to flee with their families. So now they live outside China and they just expose Chinese government. Well, since they are fluent, they read Chinese, they understand Chinese, not just the language itself, they understand the meaning, like, you know, when you have different sayings and culture, like slang, for example, like they understand all of those things. So for them to see what's yeah, they have a lot of context that's needed to understand what's actually going on. So yeah, they report well, each week when they do their podcast, they report on they pick a topic or news article or something that's happening in China, and they just report on that. And they just find people talking about it. They find videos from China. They translate, explain stuff, and so on. So this is more like where vast majority of my knowledge about China comes from these two guys. So I trust them quite a lot. And yes, you're right. They have an agenda, but I don't believe that it's anything. I don't think it's anything nefarious. So yeah, and this is just the latest video I haven't seen. I think it's been uploaded an hour ago, so yeah, it's very fresh.
Or due diligence on the influencer, and they screw up. I've gotten multiple Chinese government propaganda companies to play along right to the very end. They actually offered me about $2,000 to spread certain messages. And it starts to make sense why you'd start seeing certain topics starting to fill your screen. China has a multi-billion-dollar budget for this, and they do it with topics that they think are important. And what is the topic of the day? Well, it's de-dollarization. So this de-dollarization thing looks at least partially like a Chinese psyop. Russia seems in on it too. It was all over Russian Today. But the more important question is it true? Did the world de-dollarize? That's probably what you want to know, right? Well, this is where I had to get experts in on it. With China's propaganda and headlines, you'd probably think that the US economy is absolutely screwed. You'd think that China just took over the world. You'd think that Americans were poor. Hold up, let's check the per person GDP real quick. $80,000 per year for America and $13,000 a year for China. Now I get that this has nothing to do with de-dollarization. I just like to throw in some perspective here. Anyway, different topic. Did the world stop using the dollar? I mean, Francis used the Chinese yuan to do some shenanigans. Brazil just signed on with China for some more Belt and Road Initiative stuff, or as I like to call it, the Bait and Rob Initiative. China's Belt and Road Initiative, by the way, it's the idea that China can just build stuff in your country and then you owe them. It's largely been a failure thus far, and many countries are actually regretting their decision to join China on this Belt and Road Initiative. And having one more sucker like Brazil recently join the big fiesta of regret hardly makes the world less dollar friendly. What have I even told you that Saudi Arabia's new deal with China snubbing the US barely had any effect on dollar supremacy? Now, there is no de-dollarization and then replacing it with the Chinese yuan. After I learned all about this, after speaking to industry experts, I just realized how unbelievably unrealistic it is to even think that the Chinese yuan will be anything other than paper. The truth is, the Chinese yuan is just 2% of the world's global currency trade. For God's sakes, the Australian dollar, from Australia, a country with 25 million people, has a bigger global currency trade share than a country of 1.4 billion people, China. But let's look more closely at foreign exchange. The idea is that when you have business between two countries, you need a currency to use as a middleman. You can't just trade in some obscure currency. No one is going to be able to accept the Vietnamese dong without converting it to a more globally recognized currency, like the US dollar. Since even before 1989, the US dollar has been involved in between 85 and 90% of foreign exchange transactions. After reading the headlines from China and watching all these videos, I would expect the latest figures to be dismal. I would expect to go and check that the current foreign exchange transactions, I would expect that the US dollar has fallen from 85% to like 10%, right? The Chinese yuan will reign supreme. No. The US dollar as
Having these conflicts of powerhouse are healthy for the society, believe it or not. Having one leading powerhouse ruling the world would shape the society in the way we do it. Yeah, I completely agree. You're spot on that with that. Competition is what drives change, and you can't really have a competition if there's only one of something, of anything. And yeah, so just based on that, I completely agree on you. There should be at least two competing powers to keep to keep check on each other. It's just the issue is that powers like China and Russia, they aren't really, like, they are not compelling alternatives. Like, they don't bring anything. Well, the only thing that they bring to the table is pointing out issues with Western powers. So when America does something bad or European Union does something bad, Russia and China are the first ones to come and point to those things, which is good. That's the value they provide. But otherwise, they do very little. They don't really care about the environment. They don't really care about other people or other nations. So, yeah. You would rather I would rather have something a competing power that tries to improve on the democratic model rather than destroy and enforce some sort of communism, which already failed. But yeah, I completely agree with you. Multiple powers is good.
As of the latest study in 2022, is involved in 88% of foreign exchange.
It's just the thing is that just because it is good to have multiple superpowers, multiple poles of political power, it doesn't give a license to behave whatever you please, just because you might be considered an alternative. Like, just because China is on one side and US is on the other side, doesn't mean that China can now invade countries and commit genocide. Like, that shouldn't be allowed. That's the issue. At least from what I've seen.
Exchange transactions. That's higher than some of the figures in the past 30 years. So where's the de-dollarization? Looks more like re-dollarization to me. Just kidding, obviously. But anyway, here's what one industry expert said. Most foreign exchange happen in a few freely convertible currencies. US dollar, euro, Great British pound. You got the Japanese yen, you got the Swiss franc, you know, all these kind of currencies. However, even among those, not all pairs are active. So most foreign currency exchange goes through the most liquid currency, and that's the US dollar. Let's come up with an example here. Let's say that Pooh wants to buy some honey in Chinese yuan. The seller will convert the USD honey price into Chinese yuan. And then Pooh will give over his Chinese yuan to get the honey. And then the seller will convert the Chinese yuan to their currency. For most currencies, the Chinese yuan will get converted into USD and then into the seller's desired currency. It was still traded in US dollars. Technically, Pooh traded in Chinese yuan, but the only trivial difference is that Pooh got quoted a price in Chinese yuan. Now, could this trade just avoid the US dollar step? Well, sure, but it would be much more expensive, just like you'd pay more to fly directly between two small cities. So why does the US make oil get traded in the US dollar? So a big Chinese government talking point is this whole oil being traded in the US dollar thing. Why do countries trade oil in the US dollar? The US doesn't make the trade happen in the US dollar. The US, as a policy, doesn't give a damn what currency trade happens in. However, the US is a big, rich economy, so a lot of trade naturally happens in the US dollar. A lot of trade used to be in Great British pounds before the British Empire shrank. The US dollar is also a stable currency, which is another reason that people quote prices in US dollars. Finally, you get most of the competition if prices are easily comparable, so everyone quotes and trades in USD. There's nothing more mysterious than just wanting lots of comparable prices to spur competition. Often tied up in this is the idea that trade happening in the US dollar allows the US to control trade. However, the US doesn't have any position on its exchange rates, nor is there any way that the US
US being stable? I think it just means about the currency being stable. And by that, I assume he means that a lot of countries have a fixed rate to US dollar. Like, through unethical ways it keeps being stable. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Lots of things that Western countries do is unethical, wrong, and shouldn't be done in the first place. And yeah, that is no excuse. And yeah, it is definitely a bad thing. And I don't think, yeah, it just shouldn't be done. But when you look at the alternatives, what the things that China and Russia are doing are considerably worse. Because with the problem with US, well, why US gets so much flack is because of freedom of speech in United States. So if something happens to you, you are allowed to go and publicize and complain and bring attention to that issue. And that's how a lot of issues in Western countries get exposed. But if something like that happens in Russia or China, and you voice your grievances in public, like, you better pray that the officials that are in power will never hear about it, because if they do, that's the end of your life. Like, so, you know, it is it is no excuse to do bad things. I get that, but you need to understand. Well, keep in mind that you're not actually comparing apples to apples. Like, these are two very different governments, two very different systems. And I would say the better comparison would be between Japan, United States, United Kingdom, maybe even Cuba. But Cuba also has its own problems with it. There isn't, basically, if there is no freedom of speech, it's very hard to see what's to understand how the country actually works. Because take the Chinese example, they make up all of their numbers. They just decide now our GDP is this, and it grows by that number, and yeah, it is like that because we said so. And there is no transparency at all. So I agree. Western countries do a lot of unethical things that they shouldn't do in the first place, and when they get exposed, they bend over backwards to somehow justify that, or in some cases, I'm trying to think of a case. Yeah, usually they don't take responsibility either. So yeah, I can't really give them benefit of the doubt for that. Right, let's see.
US can control trade by people using the US dollar. It's not like the US is gonna wait for China to be exposed to the exchange rate and then change the rate to hurt China. So yeah, who can buy oil?
They let it be transparent so they get excused? You could say, yeah, that is a solid strategy. Just by being transparent, you know, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Like that's like the saying goes. But you know, having transparency is a lot of a better than not having transparency and just hoping that the government looks after your best interests. Because there aren't I can't really think of an example like that. Maybe what would be an example where you don't really have a freedom of speech, but the government is actually looking after the people. Maybe Singapore? That might be one of the examples, because I know for sure that you don't have freedom of speech in Singapore, but the people are in general happy. But they are currently being invaded by China. Well, economically invaded by China. So, and they don't really seem to be doing much about it. So I'm not sure if this is actually in the best interest of their people. But anyways, like, there are very few examples where you don't have transparency and you still have a decent, like, you can live like a life without being oppressed. You could say, like, I guess you could argue that, what's the name of it? Damn it. Free market. Free market economies are oppressive by nature, because if you, well, capitalism always looks for the bottom line and so on. But that's why government performs such an important role, because it's their job to make laws and regulate the markets or capitalistic entities, businesses. So they wouldn't abuse their people too much. So, at least that's my opinion. Okay, let's see what's...
Oil or honey in Chinese yuan, but it's just the seller converting the US dollar price to Chinese yuan. Congrats, Pooh Bear, what a win! But China has been absolutely obsessed with getting countries to trade in the yuan. However, the irony is that many contract specifications do calculations in the US dollar. And the exchange says that they accept US dollars as well as Chinese yuan. So Chinese yuan trading isn't really some mandated change. It might help local people, but these contracts aren't actually dethroning King Dollar in international trade. Another piece of this propaganda puzzle is that China keeps claiming, from all this oil side of things, that the Chinese government claims that Shanghai crude oil is the new global benchmark, even though the spec is actually the same as Omani crude oil. Omani crude, incidentally, trades in Dubai, in US dollars, and is already the global benchmark. They also admit that they couldn't use domestically extracted crude because China mostly relies on imported oil. Same goes for most Shanghai Futures Exchange contracts. There are largely copies of contracts which trade elsewhere in US dollars, though sometimes they're scaled down so that they look like they trade more. But it's not just about oil. People trade metals like copper on the London Metal Exchange, or the LME, and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Each have higher open interest, which measures how much people have locked in prices to protect against changes. Nickel also trades more on the LME, even after a big Chinese customer made the LME halt trading and bail him out of big losses, while the Shanghai Futures Exchanges kept trading their nickel contract. I'm sure the LME being owned by Hong Kong exchanges has nothing to do with the funny business making the Shanghai nickel contract look better. Because Hong Kong is independent, am I right? And the Shanghai exchange even still cannot beat the US dollar dominated contract on the LME, even after all of that. To make it simple, China hasn't ousted the US dollar on metal exchanges either. Oh, but food! Soybeans are what people keep bringing up. The world will trade soybeans, an incredibly important commodity, in Chinese yuan. Nope. The Dalian Commodity Exchange trades them in Chinese yuan at a smaller size, but they are dwarfed by trading in US dollar at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. How about cotton, which trades on the Zhengzhou Commodity Exchange in Chinese yuan at a smaller scale and is barely keeping up with trade on the Intercontinental Exchange in US dollars. Maybe the only exception to this is the Shanghai Futures Exchange in steel rebar contract, which has a very liquid market in trading in the Chinese yuan. Well, China pours a lot of crappy concrete. I mean, they did. So this makes a hell of a lot of sense.
I think you meant steel, not concrete. Well, China is very famous for its fake concrete as well, but in this case, I think he meant steel.
Maybe less going forward, though, after the COVID lockdowns and this absolutely insane city-sized COVID capsule cities that they literally retired halfway through building. You know, they shuttered factories and protest crackdowns and wolf warrior diplomacy. They made a lot of businesses reconsider if China was actually the stable partner that they wanted. And there's always something you have to keep in mind. Big Western businesses are realizing that China isn't a safe trading partner. Business will move away from China over time, not increase. So I guess China can claim victory on trading the most steel rebar in Chinese yuan. Whoop-de-frickin' do. Don't even get me started on all those warehouse receipt scandals in Qingdao and Penglai. People got multiple loans backed by the same stocks of metal. Yet even more reasons that the world isn't rushing to trade Chinese exchanges or in Chinese yuan. A recent report shows that Russia deeply regrets this whole Chinese partnership thing because it was happy to take on the Chinese yuan in the beginning, but is now realizing that it prefers euros or dollars because they can actually use them. We could go on and on and on. It's not that de-dollarization is completely false. There might be a big future in Bitcoin or crypto in general. And things on the world stage may shift over time. But I'll tell you what, this whole US is collapsing and the world stopping using the dollar overnight and replacing it with the Chinese yuan, that's not happening. Carrick Ryan said it well. Despite the Chinese economy being the second largest in the world by GDP, the yuan makes up only 2.6% of global currency trade. Why? Because markets rely on trust. Trust that property rights will be protected. Trust that leaders are accountable. Trust that government policy is transparent. And trust that you won't be forced to sell your company when it gets too successful. Or worse, you're just arrested for becoming too powerful yourself. That is why the market trusts currencies of democracies, and always will. If China wants to genuinely challenge the US dollar's hegemony, it will need to drastically liberalize, not just the economy, but the government. And for Xi, that would mean relinquishing his power. This is not gonna happen. Anyway, most of what you see out there about this de-dollarization thing comes from a Chinese psyop. Psychological operations are operations to convey selected information and indicators to audiences to influence their emotions, motives, and objective reasoning, and ultimately the behavior of governments, organizations, groups, and individuals. In other words, it's a propaganda campaign. It's kind of like if you say something enough, kind of makes it true, right? It's like in school, you feel left out because people keep talking about a song or a toy or a movie or a video game or something that you don't know much about. You hear about de-dollarization passively, hundreds if not thousands of times, and you end up just parroting or tacitly believing Chinese propaganda. China has a narrative to push, and they're pushing it successfully. It's sad that we have to live in a world where a country like China that blocks its entire populace from any and all media like Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or WhatsApp, name it, it's blocked. All the while, the Chinese state takes advantage of the free and open media platforms of the US and the larger world to push, twist, divide, and control a narrative for its own political gain. And that's not right. Look into the motivation of a certain narrative. Why might people be saying something? Look for state-sponsored labels. Google Trends to see who and what people are saying what. Inform yourself as to why they might be saying that. But all in all, the quicker that people realize that China isn't the future, the quicker all this madness can stop. If you guys want to see a live show where we talk about all of the current things that are happening in China, I highly recommend you go over to my live show every Friday. It's called The China Show. It's everything.
Yeah, this is a really good show. So basically the guy on the left is the guy I started watching like 10 years ago, and he was doing vlogs while walking in China and just talking about everyday life in China, and I found those videos very interesting. So yeah, I've been his fan for a long time, and at some point they got together, they started a business, they even made a documentary in China, because both of them ride bikes. So yeah, they traveled around China on bikes and filmed a lot of content about like actual China, like how it looks, how well, I guess it's not just about looks. They talk to the people, to the locals. They know their culture more or less, and it seems like they know China better than the Chinese, because Chinese are very well. I guess one thing that traveling around China, you can't really move freely around China. It's a common thing in communist countries that you get assigned where you can live, and outside that region you can't work, you can't get benefits, you can't let your children go to school, and so on. So Chinese people are like exposure even to China and what's happening in China is quite limited. Aqua Affinity. Don't really need that. Other chest. Still nothing useful. Amazing. But yeah, they both do a very good, really good show. They bring to attention, like, for example, this weekend, they were talking about a huge scandal in China about free ice cream. So what happened there was a show. I think it was just a general car show open to the general public, and a Chinese guy was filming a BMW stand, I believe. They were showing off a BMW car or something like that, and they were giving out free ice cream. But I'm not really sure what was the situation, but exactly. But the ice cream was running out, and I believe one of the employers or someone related to that show, who was a foreigner, it looks like he asked for one of the to keep him or reserve him one cone of ice of ice cream, and when they ran out, they still had a couple reserved, like so they didn't run out completely. And he was filming how a Chinese woman come over and ask for free ice cream, and the girls that were distributing the ice cream or attending to that BMW booth, they said that they ran out of ice cream and there was no ice cream left. And here comes, like, she goes away, and like in almost immediately this foreigner guy comes in and asks for the ice cream, and they serve him the ice cream, and he gets upset that because what he sees is that a BMW stand is refusing to serve Chinese people, and they are just only serving foreigners, which is obviously wrong. Like, I could definitely understand him getting upset over it. So what he does after that is he asks for free ice cream, and he gets told the same thing, that they just ran out and there's no more left. And well, basically nothing happens. Nothing further happens. Like, he didn't really inquire why did they serve the foreigner, the non-Chinese guy, but didn't serve the ice cream to the Chinese woman, and so on. He just made assumptions that it's obviously racism. Obviously, they don't like Chinese or something like that. Well, basically, he got offended and that's it. And decided, well, since China pushes this agenda that it's all about foreigners, that foreigners are at fault for everything that's going bad in China. So since they have total control over the media space, what they did was let this message proliferate, and they just encouraged, and a lot of people saw it, and it became a huge deal in China that BMW, like, people were burning their new BMWs that they bought. They were just burning them, destroying them in protest. So yeah, and Chinese government willingly let this spread and get people riled up because well, it's better than that people are upset about some foreigner or foreign company in this case than at the Chinese government. So I guess that was their logic. So yeah, while they're really upset about BMW, they are not really upset about the Chinese government itself. I think that was the trail of thought. I feel like I started at the wrong spot. I should be starting at the top. But yeah, that was the video. So I can hide it. Browser, not visible. Amazing. So yeah, it's even though US and other Western countries are not really no one's claiming that they are innocent and without fault, they still are miles ahead of countries like China or Russia. Because, well, well, I guess technically I was born in the Soviet Union, because at that time Soviet Union was still a thing and Lithuania was part of the Soviet Union. I still remember, vaguely remember, watching on TV how tanks were rolling in and taking over media stations. And so on, to stop people. Well, I guess it was right after Lithuania declared independence from Soviet Union. Like, the immediate reaction of the Soviet government was to send in tanks, take over the TV station, and I'm not really sure what was the follow-up. What was the follow-up supposed to be? But basically, I don't think there was much of a follow-up. After seeing that people are not fleeing at the sight of tanks, they, I guess, decided that it's not really worth the trouble and just retreated. Wow, this is a huge area. Cool. Nice, 35. So I'll take these instead of rotten flesh. Damn, mine suck. I don't want to fall in. I kind of need coal. Didn't really see any coal just yet. I think I should be looking out for it. He will spawn. Ooh. Goes somewhere. Damn, it feels very scary to jump on creepers like that. Right. Oh yeah, I guess tomorrow I will know if I'm getting the salary increase that I'm asking for. I think the chances now look like I'm not getting it. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a very interesting meeting tomorrow with my manager. Oh yeah, they sent me a list of things I am not allowed to talk about in public. Still haven't haven't really looked into it. I assume it's not too unreasonable. Because at least they pretend to be, or make an effort to be, a reasonable company. So I assume their policies should be somewhat reasonable regarding that. Or regarding on the confidentiality. But who knows, like... But yeah, it's very likely that I'll be quitting the company. Or turning in my resignment, I guess, tomorrow. And by labor law, I have to give at least 2-week notice, so... yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow, I guess. Well, it might be good. Maybe I should look for, well, I will look for a better company to work for. Company that... I'm not even sure what type of company, how to decide. What company should I work for? That is a good question. Didn't really think about it. Who do I really want to work for? I kind of like companies that make their own products. But I'm not sure. Well, I guess it's nice to work for a company like that. But I feel like the pay would be less. than working for a general software development company, like I'm working for now. Because with general development, you're basically serving clients that can't be bothered to have their own development team or development department. And that is quite expensive. Oh, this area just continues on. I need coal. Not really sure what to do about that. I don't even know how to get back. I'm hoping to spot some coal. I don't think that's actually happening. No matter how convenient it would be. Yeah, no coal in here. In theory, you should find the coal next to the diamonds, maybe? Just because they're made of the same stuff. Ooh, diamonds. Speak of the devil. Oh, I need to mine it out. Right. That looks like a vein of iron. I guess I should try to go back. Should try swimming up. See where this goes. Seems to be going somewhere. That didn't really go all that well. I'm just hoping there's some coal up there. At the top. See any coal just yet. 21 torch. Coal here. I guess I should just keep going up as far as I can. I think that's the best strategy. Let's go up this water. Ooh, normal stone. This looks promising. I feel like coal should be a little bit more common on higher levels. Normal stone. So not used to it. Let's keep swimming up. This looks like it might be a good place. Find some coal. Oh, cool. Nice. Just what I needed. Let's see. $64. is full. Anything else? Guess this is fine. Right. Yeah, tomorrow is gonna be a big day. Hopefully tomorrow. They were supposed to be done today, but they said that they are not done. I think in theory they were supposed to be done on Friday, if I remember correctly. Well, I guess at least it will give me... Oh, it's not... It's gonna give me a chance. It will take away my excuse to not work on the crypto payment gateway. So that's nice, I guess. And I would like to find more coal. Also would be nice. No coal here. This is a decent size opening. That might have coal somewhere. It also might have coal. Does this jump a thing? Can you do that? Ooh, you can. Nice. Oh there. No coal on this side. Coal on this side. This looks like it might have, should have coal. Okay, I see a creeper. I saw some coal. Okay. Only one? Okay, more than one. Okay, this looks like a decent amount. Nice. Oh yeah, my shovel doesn't have mending. For a very long time I thought that something is wrong with my game. Or something is bugged, that my shovel is not getting repaired as it should. But turns out it doesn't have mending. Guess there won't be like one here to make sure that no mobs would be spawning. Oh yeah, this is a dead end. It's about this side. Oh, coal is so rare. Ooh, another geo. Doesn't look all that impressive as well. Well, geodes in general are kind of meh today. Right. Let's see. Speaking about US and other Western countries doing bad things is oh, I guess it's not about them in particular, but people who really criticize, not criticize is the wrong thing. They are very against 60 coal. That's not a lot. Which way did they came from? Right. Yeah, those people well, I imagine there is some subset of people like that that actually moved out of US into China or Russia, and well, there are a couple of them that I'm not even sure if there are people like that, but I imagine there should be some that honestly don't regret that, and after living there for quite a while still think that that was the right decision. And maybe for some of them it was. But I feel like majority of them are just basically lying to themselves that it's all fine and good, and it was the right choice to move to China or Russia. But I don't think they honestly believe that. It's just something that they have to tell. Otherwise, their decision was not justified. Two chests like this, interesting. Looting one. Ooh, saddles. Saddles I will take. See, 13. Not sure if I have it. Golden armor. Something I don't need. And coal. Coal I definitely need. This doesn't go anywhere. Nice. Wait, I think I saw some diamonds, no? Oh, that's glow lichen. Oh, that's some diamonds. What I actually need is coal. Oh, I see coal. Do I see a way over there? I think I could go this way. Eventually should get there. No? Yeah, I think this is the way. Let's see. Oh, hello there. Coal here. Sadly. What's up here? This looks like it might have coal. Somehow I have a feeling that I'll find some coal here. Right after I make these torches. Okay, maybe not right after, but soon. Is this connected? I'm trying to lean in my chair to see to see better. Okay, maybe this doesn't have coal. Oh yeah, I went up from here. Okay. Starting to run circles. Oh yeah, this is a different redstone block. Coal? No coal. Well, I guess I don't really need coal right now. 48, that's what? That's exactly 3 stacks of torches. Which is probably good enough for today. This iron. That is an interesting point of view. That oh, so this is the wrong way. That Western countries get excused for doing bad things because of their openness. I don't think that's exactly right. I think oh, so this is where I came from. Oh, I think it might seem that way, but yeah, I don't really think it's true. Because well, I guess the best proof would be that yeah, there was some coal here, right? Finally back. That's another crevice. Right. Well, I guess slowly but surely I'm exploring all of this. Reaper trying to float up. Yeah, I have to look into this first. Oh, I should, at least. Looks like it loops back and... oh... I see entrance to a mine. That is not good. Oh. Okay, I'm not interested in that mine. Ooh. That is a lucky block I decided to randomly destroy. Exposing diamonds. Quite a few of them as well. What is it? 8 diamonds maxed in one spot? Okay, I think that at least it used to be like that. Oh, I thought this was the mine. Give me the gunpowder. Everything. Oh yeah, this is the right spot. I'm just lower down now. Hmm? Yeah, this is the same area. Okay. Where did this torch come from? Looks like I've been here before. Well, the chances of someone else coming here is extremely low. Ooh, zombie villager. Hello. Doesn't look like it. Above? No idea. Ooh, see more torches. I am out of torches. Right. Yeah, I have no idea when I was here. Okay, the zombie villager seems to still be alive, which is good. Just need to find it. Somewhere around here. It might be. Oh, here it is. Nice. It is in the open area. I guess I don't really care about zombie villager too much. Right. Let's go back. Need to go back as well. Right, I guess I haven't. I hope that would two-shot him. Right. Zombie. And the hitboxes are so small. Ooh. This is a zombie spawner. Ooh, and enchanted golden apple. Nice. First one. Cool. And a golden apple. Nice. Oh. Oh, don't die. Oh, I guess he's dead. Oh? Okay, if it's not dead, then I should probably save him. Don't have crafting bench on me. Guess this is the way back. Yeah, this is the way back. Right. Now, do I have a crafting bench with me? I don't. Amazing. Alright. This. And a boat. But I don't need fire resistance potion. That can go. Nice. I guess I would rather take fire resistance potion. Let's see. Anything I could get rid of? Doesn't look like it. Oh, I guess I could make what's the name of it? Ore blocks? Like this. Right. Raw iron blocks. Anything else? Think so. Oh yeah, these can go in. Have 64 of something. Doesn't look like it. Arrows. Oh yeah, I guess enchanted golden apple can go inside. Not gonna use it anytime soon. Right. I didn't pick up the apple. Let's go back. Anything else here? Oh, this loops around, okay. That's good to know, I guess. No coal here. Oh, there's 2 saddles. 1 coal. Thought I heard a creeper. Bunch of iron. Right. I've been thinking maybe I should just quit the company. Definitely feels like I don't really want to encourage companies like that. Well, I guess if they are willing to pay me, then yes, it's I'm fine with it. But in any case, I should be looking for some other place to work at. Of torches again. Ooh, iron. Okay, time to make some torches. It's away. I think I just messed up my scenes. Oh well. Torches. Here. Why doesn't my shift work? Okay, another loop. Oh, this goes up. Goes back. Cool. And I believe there's some coal up there, okay. Okay, finally I'm at the bottom of this area. Should probably spare. I'll use my torches sparingly, at least. Since I don't have too much coal. Oh no. And that is why the creeper fell. Guess it didn't spawn alone. Diamonds. That I don't need. Nice. 31, half a stack basically of diamond ore blocks. Yeah, I guess in any case I need to look for a new company. Eat buttons. Right. Oh yeah, this is the area with where the mines start. Yeah, mines. I wish there was a way to wall hack somehow. Well, there still must be some ways to basically wall hack. Do some research on how to do that. Since it is kind of important to be able to do that. It's like I've been here. This looks very familiar. Oh, that. Damn it. This wasn't enough. Amazing. Yeah, I think it's better to get back to the area which had coal. Except I'm not really sure which way to go. I believe it's this way. Okay, maybe not this way. But it definitely feels very familiar. I wonder what are my chances of getting back to the entrance. Definitely looks familiar. This is a dead end. Bunch of dead ends. Yeah, I definitely remember coming this way. Now the question is, where do they come from? Remember that. I kind of remember this. Oh, damn it. Wait, again. I guess this doesn't really have many exits. So this area sucks. I don't think this leads anywhere as well. Yeah, I think I just put in some torches and left. Right. Damn, my back hurts. I tried to massage it myself, and it didn't really go that well. Wait, I kinda remember this. I think this is the way back. Somehow. Well, this is not the way back, I guess. But to go back... I feel like the exit should be close. Hopefully. Oh, this might be the exit. Oh, Oh, did I manage to find my way back? I feel like I might have. This is still quite deep. But I think I should be able to get out of here. Maybe. I'm going the right way. This looks very familiar. Oh yeah, I know where I am. Nice. Didn't even get lost. Amazing. Sounds like Tong Suala. Nice. Here a zombie. It's definitely an area. Oh wait, wasn't this where the geode? Yeah, this is where the geode is. I guess I was too far, barely anything. Well, almost didn't grow pretty much at all. Okay, time to go back. Nice. Yeah, I wonder if this cave has an end to it. Definitely feels like an endless cave. Or at least an endless cave system. Probably because it is. Right. But yeah, I think I'm done for today. That is a very, well, quite successful outing, in my opinion. Soft gold. Amethyst cluster. Yeah, I guess I should have collected them as clusters as well. Well, in any case, diamonds. Yeah, this. Have any more lapis? Doesn't look like it. Oh yeah, golden apples. I think they go here. Right. 11 of them. Well, I guess this stays here forever. Oh, I have plenty of saddles. Wow. Didn't realize that. Did I name the dog? I did not name the dog. Okay. Well, at least I have a name tag. Oh yeah, oppa. More gunpowder. I guess this is kind of full, almost. Right. Redstone. Side. All of the good things. Wait, is this coal? Yeah, it is coal. Okay, this is pretty much full. Oh yeah. Guess we can move these out. Make some space. Diamonds. What else? Oh yeah, just random blocks. Some iron blocks. Right. Tough. And fire resistance potion. Think I need it for anything. Guess the diamonds can go here. So it's all in one place. That is quite a bit of iron. Let's sleep. Haven't slept in a while. Fresh new day. New beginnings. There is some iron. No, well, I mean, some wood. Oh, too many arrows as well. Anything else? Yeah, the fire potion. That? I think that's it. Level 36 as well. Yeah, I'm done for today. Tomorrow I should know. Hopefully I will know. It would be nice to know. But who knows? Like at this point, yeah, it could go either way. Yeah, but in any case, tomorrow's meeting will be very interesting. Yeah, but I'm then done for today.